Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your situation and leave what does not. On that note, this whole reading can be reversed. If that's the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Aries, let's jump into the reading here. On your side of this connection, you have allow for time and space with the Four of Wands. Whoever you are dealing with here, you have been kind of distancing yourself from them. Whether that was your choice or not, I'm not quite sure. This could be like, you know, this person like walked away from the connection and you were kind of forced into that space, or it was your decision. But either way, with the Four of Wands here, I feel like you're kind of building, like working on yourself right now, working on kind of building your internal world, which if you watch my readings, you know that that's all I talk about is working on ourselves is all the only thing that we can do to improve our life. And so I do feel like that's what you're doing here. However, I do feel as if there might be a little bit of holding on to this connection in some way, and how that is kind of blocking you from being able to fully move forward in the way that you are needing to in your life, which I feel like we'll get a lot more of as we kind of continue to unfold this reading, because the overall theme is spiritual cleansing. So, and you could very well be going through that with this connection. Spiritual cleansing, it's just working through a lot of stuff, working through emotions and fears and heartbreak, and it kind of allows us to find clarity on the other side. So you might be kind of in the middle of that right now. This person has you don't think of me with the Emperor in reverse. So I feel like you feel as if this person doesn't really care. I don't actually feel as if that's the case. However, with the Emperor in reverse, this is kind of an energy of someone who has a tendency to be a little bit controlling, like really needs control of situations. So they don't want to be vulnerable in this situation. They don't really want you to know that they're thinking about you. They don't really want you to know that they care, because that puts them in a vulnerable position. That gives them, a lack of control, which I feel like is kind of their priority here. In between this connection, you have it's never over with the Ten of Swords. So I feel as if this connection has repeatedly caused you quite a bit of pain in a lot of different ways. And I feel like this is a lot of kind of breaking out, getting through the spiritual cleansing and breaking out of this cycle of pain that you've been stuck in. It could be kind of a cycle of maybe feeling as if you continue to get betrayed or abandoned, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a cycle that's just repeating in this connection. It can be a cycle that has kind of repeated in other connections as well, that's kind of needing to come to an end here. But that's just the overall energy, Aries. Let's jump in here to your side of this connection. What is Aries energy toward this person? Aries side of this connection. Six of Wands. Five of Pentacles and Page of Wands in reverse. You had really high hopes for this connection. Maybe you still do, but you're feeling a lack in it. Like you're feeling like you've lost the connection, or you've lost this person. Like you're feeling a void because of the distance between you and this person. I don't feel as if things unfolded the way that you expected at all in this connection. Actually, I feel like things, I don't know if it was necessarily blindsiding or what here, but I do feel as if things unfolded in a way that was like much different than you had kind of imagined or envisioned for the connection. And I feel as if that's kind of been hard to work through. You know, when we lose people in our life, and that's any kind of relationship, family relationships, friendships, obviously, romantic relationships, we are not only really grieving that person, but we're also grieving the part of ourselves that, the person that we thought we would be with that person in our life. You know, there's so much that goes into that. Now, I'm not saying, because I don't feel like this connection is currently together. I feel like this is someone that you have dealt with in the past, or they're still currently in your life, but you're having to, like I said, there's distance here. There is a distance between you and this person. But yeah, I feel like you had high hopes, and then now you're kind of dealing with this energy of like, man, things did not go as I thought that they would here. Let's get more for Aries side. Ooh, okay, King of Swords in reverse. I don't feel like this person was totally honest with you about who they were. I feel like, because the King of Swords in reverse can be a little bit of a manipulative energy. It's almost as if I don't want to say they like outright lied to you, but I definitely feel that they kind of put on a mask here. And that's what you're having a hard time dealing with. Is I feel that's why you had high hopes, is this person presented themselves as one person and you were like, oh, nice, like this is great, we can, make this work. But then they kind of, maybe true colors came out, or true intentions or something, and it kind of left you feeling like, whoa, I don't know what to believe, because it's hard whenever who we think someone is ends up not really being who they come to be. And so I feel like there's kind of a need to, which I feel like what you're doing, pulling back, focusing on yourself so you can gain clarity here. Sometimes when we're dealing with someone who is a little bit more manipulative, which I kind of got that vibe from this person with the Emperor in reverse. And like, yes, the Emperor is an Aries energy, but that is very much coming from them. And I feel like it's this kind of need for control and gonna do whatever they can to kind of maintain how you perceive them and things of that, to maintain control over how you perceive them and things of that nature. And so I feel that they're not, or haven't really been coming from very much of an authentic place, which has been probably pretty difficult for you, because it almost feels like you're grieving, or you've lost the person that you thought that they were. And that's what's so hard. So this person could even still be in your life, but you're grieving, or like you feel you've lost this version of them that you thought that they were, because they've kind of come forward as being someone very different. Which again is obviously going to be challenging. The Devil. Okay. There's a little bit of an attachment that you have to this person, which can make it really hard to see things clearly. And I feel like that's a lot of why distance right now and kind of focusing on yourself is necessary, because I do feel like there's very much a lack of clarity, because you want to believe what this person says, you want to believe how they make you, or like how they present themselves as, and the way that their words make you feel and things of that nature. But then it's hard to kind of figure out what's best for you, because I feel their behavior isn't really what you deserve, and things. It's almost as if like you don't know what to believe. And when we're in that situation, and we're like, our needs and our feelings are all mixed in with the other person's, it's hard to figure out what's best for us. There is a little bit of an attachment, like I said here, almost maybe like an addiction to this connection. When we're dealing with attachments, there's usually significant highs and lows, and we hold on through the lows, because when things are good, it feels really good. It's kind of like a high or an addiction that you can have to literally any other substance. It's like when things are good, you're like, oh, this is amazing, and I wish that this feeling could last forever. But then when there's an absence of that, which is more often than not, there's these significant lows, and it's very painful, and it makes you kind of second guess your worth and your value because of how they're treating you. And so I do feel as if there's a lot going on behind the scenes of this connection, which is why I do feel you have, and that's why spiritual cleansing I feel like is necessary. It's almost like you need to kind of cleanse their energy from yours so you can figure out like, okay, how do I really feel? Like, what do I really want? Where is this going? And kind of gain a little bit more insight for yourself individually, because I do feel as if everything kind of got a little commingled here, which happens in connections. This person's energy toward Aries. I'm interested about what's going on over here. What does Aries need to know about this person's energy toward them? Because you don't think they care about you at all. I feel like you're like, oh, they're not thinking about me. High Priestess in reverse with the Knight of Swords. So they're the ones that ran from this. They pushed you away here. With the High Priestess in reverse, that's straight up them like not listening to themselves. Because I feel like their higher self, the part of them that knows how to give and receive love in a healthy manner, is like, well, what are you doing? Look at how much this person has to offer. But then the part of themselves that's scared, that is unhealed, kind of that traumatized shadow side of them, is fully in control here. Because again, remember what I said, this person's primary priority is to maintain control. Maintain control of themselves, of their relationships, of other people. And a lot of times that includes keeping people at a distance because they don't want people to get too close. If they don't like who they are, they don't want people to see inside that mask that they kind of have. And I feel like you did. And I feel like that's why this person pulled away, is because you kind of saw right through them in a way. Now, that doesn't mean, because I know that I said, like, you don't know which version of them to believe. Like, I feel like the part of that is because you see the good in them, right? Like, you see straight through to who they are. You see the good in them. You see that potential. But then you also see how they show up as. So that's where I feel like you're confused, is you're like, I do have empathy for this person. I care about them and I love them. But are they this person that I know that they can be? Or, what is this just like all there is in a way? But I do very much feel like this person pulled away because you got too close here, because you kind of saw through their mask. This person's energy toward Aries. Judgment? The Three of Wands in reverse. This isn't usually how I take this Judgment card, but I feel like when it flipped over, I just heard judgmental, and that was even before I even saw what the card was. I feel like this person has a tendency to be very critical, like overly critical of other people, and that could be part of this controlling kind of behavior. Now, one of the things that I've learned quite a bit is that people treat other people the way that they treat themselves. When people are overly critical and holding people to unrealistic standards, it's because they are doing that themselves to themselves. And I feel as if this person, it's almost as if they got a little bit of a God complex here. That's the best way I could say that, is it feels like they feel like they're kind of better than everyone. I don't know. It's kind of that vibe that I get. Now, that's coming from ego, right? It's the way that their ego needs to perceive the world to keep themselves feeling safe. And so, but yeah, there's kind of this feeling of like, which is why they're not going to show you that they care. Because that shows a soft side of them that I feel they don't really want anyone to really see. They want that, like, I don't really care. I don't need anybody. They kind of got that vibe going on here. And that's their own, again, that's kind of their way of protecting themselves. And so, I don't know, like judgmental. It's almost as if, and maybe this is the way that it felt in the connection, as if maybe everything was your fault. You know, you were always in the wrong. They weren't ever taking accountability. And that might be the difference between like that person that you thought that they were and then the person that they kind of came out as here. But let's get more. This person's energy toward Aries. So I'm not loving this person's energy with where they're at right now. They're definitely coming from a pretty ego-centered place. This person's energy toward Aries. Wait, hang on. High Priest is upright, right? Is that upright? Yeah, that's upright. With the Four of Wands, the Ten of Cups. That's so, okay. That's confusing. That's very confusing energy. So I feel like this person saw so much good in this connection. Your potential, the Ten of Cups, like maybe even at some point was like, yeah, this is the one. This is my person. It almost feels, to a certain extent, okay, you challenged their ego's view of themselves. So when I talked about how this person kind of has this energy of like, better than everyone, like, you know, they kind of have that ego-centered view of themselves, I feel like you came in to this and you kind of showed up with, you know, love and support and kindness and vulnerability and things that they don't really know how to access. And it's almost like they started feeling not good enough for you. And so because of that, it feels like kind of their insecurities started coming to the surface. And because of that, that's why they pushed you away with the Six of Swords. That's kind of why they tried to move forward from this connection, because it's almost as if it's like you challenged this view they had of themselves, like making them feel, you pushed this person into like feeling insecure. And I don't feel, now, typically when people are coming from a pretty ego-centered place, they usually have a pretty fragile ego. But it's almost like with this Four of Wands here, right? You building yourself up, this kind of internal foundation that you have, self-love, self-respect, you know, approaching things from that perspective, it's almost like, I don't know. I feel like you wanted to pull this person up with you in growth and love. You were like, come on, come with me. Like we could build together. We could do so many great things together. And it's almost like they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to face the fact that they needed to, like that they needed to change, that they needed to grow, that they needed to heal. And so instead of that, they kind of wanted to pull you down to their level. Not like consciously necessarily. Like I'm not saying that they were sitting there like, ha ha ha, I'm going to pull Aries down with me. In fact, I feel like they didn't even want to face the fact that they felt not good enough for you. I'm trying to make sure I'm being, because I don't want to sound like I'm being cruel. I feel like this person is very insecure. And I feel the way that they handle that is through kind of being controlling and manipulative. And that's kind of just in general the vibe I'm getting. But I hope that doesn't offend anybody. I'm not saying they're a bad person. I've been there. I used to be so freaking insecure that I didn't know how to not, it's like the way for me to feel safe in my world, and I take full responsibility for this, and I've done a lot of healing around guilt and shame because of this, but I was once at a point in my life where I was so insecure that it was like I had to see the negative in other people. It's like I had to pull people down or like see people in a negative light in order to feel better about myself, because I had so much insecurity. And I do feel as if this person is dealing with that in the connection here, which is going to create a lot of push and pull. All right, Aries, this is for your side of this connection to this person. This is for Aries' side of the connection. The Sun with the Five of Wands. So the reason that I feel you're conflicted and confused and don't really know what to believe is because there have been a lot of really good moments that you and this person have had. I feel like there have been a lot of very positive, very light-filled experiences that you've had with this person, but then I feel that it's like as good as things can be, it can also be equally as bad. And I feel like that's why the things have been so painful for you in this connection, is because it's like you've never, there might be even experiences where you're like, I've never felt like this before. I've never experienced anything like this before. This is so, this is so good. But then on the other hand, you're like, man, I've never experienced anything like this before. This is so painful. And so there's kind of that light and dark aspect to this connection. It's like maybe you kind of have a tendency to bring out the best in each other, and then maybe you kind of have a tendency to bring out the worst in each other. And it's very up and down and left and right and all over the place. And so I do feel as if, I talk a lot on this channel and in my love readings about making sure that you are, protecting yourself and doing what's best for you and choosing yourself in each and every moment, that you're not investing in potential and that you're investing in how someone is showing up today. And I feel like that's the hardest thing to do when we really love and care about someone, is because we want to see them as we know that they can be, right? We want to see their potential. And I feel like this person shows you glimpses of that, and that's when things are good. That's kind of when you experience the sun, the warmth that is there. So it's there, which makes it hard to let go of, because you're like, well, I just know that, it's there. And so that's why I feel like there's this need to distance yourself from this person right now, or like the space that's existing in this connection is important, because again, I feel like it's allowing you to kind of see things clearly without holding on to that potential of things being good again. Because then it allows you to say, is, this pain that I'm experiencing and this heartbreak that this connection has put me through, like, is this truly worth it? Or am I just kind of blinded by the good that isn't really even all that, doesn't happen all that often. And I'm not saying that's the case. Again, I just feel like this is kind of things that you could reflect on during kind of the separation here. All right, Aries side of the connection. The King of Pentacles in reverse. This person is very, very, very much what you would want on paper. I feel like you're like, they match, they have the looks, that maybe the intelligence, or, I don't know, the surface level stuff is there. But when it comes to how they connect with you and how they make you feel, not how you feel about them, because I feel like you obviously have feelings for this person. You feel, or if it's, platonic of some sort, like you love this person, you truly care about them. But it feels as if, it's like they don't meet the emotional needs that you have. Feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling valued. Because I don't feel like you feel all that safe in this connection, especially with those intense ups and downs. Like, that's going to keep you consistently in fight or flight mode. And I do feel like this person creates a lot of uncertainty in the way that they behave, because it makes you go, do they freaking care or do they not? Like right now, you're sitting here thinking they don't love you, and they have the 10 of Cups showing up towards your connection, right? Or you're thinking that they don't even think about you, and they have the 10 of Cups showing up. So it's like they do think about you. They may never admit that, because that requires them to be vulnerable. It requires them to open up. It requires them to, show a side of themselves that they are not really at a place in their life where they're comfortable with showing. Aries side of the connection. Yeah, because I keep saying the 6 of Wands. You have this hope for a new beginning. You do, and it's with them, because there's the Emperor in reverse. And I feel like you've been hoping that this person kind of gets it together in whatever way, because they're obviously, the ones pushing you away. And I think it's important that you're making sure that you are creating your own level of happiness and like sustainable happiness outside of this connection. So that, because when we rely on one person or the potential of a person to make us happy or to make us fulfilled, then that means that we attach ourselves to every single decision that they make. And other people's decisions don't really have anything to do with us. They have to do with them, right? How they feel about themselves, how they feel about what they're good enough for, if they're lovable, and all those fun things. And so the more that we attach ourselves to how someone else feels about us, or how someone else feels about themselves, and the decisions that they make because of that, the less that we're able to really focus on what's best for us, because we're so focused on what we think is best for that person. Because we're like, well, I need this person to heal or to grow or to be better in order for me to be happy. When in reality, when you are the only person responsible for your happiness or even capable of providing sustainable happiness for yourself. So when you're focusing on creating that in your life outside of your connection, especially when you're dealing with someone who doesn't know how to really show up for you at this time, that kind of allows you to detach a little bit from feeling like you need them so much, or like feeling like you need the connection in order to be happy, because you don't. But the more you think that, the more that you're going to kind of sacrifice what's best for you to make something work. And that's kind of where I feel like you end up getting hurt, which is so natural. And I get it. Like, I've been there, I've done it. I've had to heal probably from that cycle a million times over. So never any judgment in my readings, but it's obvious, just kind of seeing with what they're dealing with, they've got a lot to heal. They've got a lot of growing up to do. And you obviously can't guarantee that that's ever going to happen. So let's see. Let's get more for this person's energy toward Aries. Magician of the Tower. Every time they seem to get close to what they want here, they have a tendency to kind of burn things down to the ground with the Tower here. I feel like, I don't know if it's self-sabotage, I don't know what it is, but it's like they're constantly manifesting these Tower moments in their life. They're constantly not, like, I guess self-sabotage. I guess that's the best way that could come through. But it just kind of feels like they don't know how to allow good things to happen for them. Again, if they feel insecure, right? So they want to maintain control. They don't want to open up and be vulnerable. They don't want to let anyone in, right? And so even though they do want that, they do on a soul level, they wish to give and receive love in a healthy manner. Everybody does. Everybody's looking to be loved. They do want that, but they aren't kind of willing to do what's necessary to show up for that, which is going to require them to face themselves and to, do some healing and all those things that I feel like they just absolutely don't want to do. Because it's easier. It's easier to run from it. Them running from you is them running from themselves. This person's energy toward Aries. So they've got their own devil here that they're dealing with. This devil isn't, because this devil feels like it's connected to them. This devil feels like it's connected to someone else. Not someone. I don't mean to say that. Something else. A karmic situation of sorts. Something like an addiction of some sort. And this devil almost like has them trapped in a way. It's like they need to break themselves free from this before they're even going to be able to show up in the way that you want them to. I don't know what this devil is, though. Addiction's the first thing that comes to mind. Now, they could be addicted to the roller coaster of this too, right? I do definitely feel like there is some, there's definitely an aspect of toxicity to this connection, which we've all had toxic connections, but just, again, I feel like that's why space can always be so good, because it allows for that clarity outside of that, that kind of energy. This person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries. Trust issues. I mean, they're doing everything they can to keep you at a distance, and really anyone. So it's interesting, they see the Ten of Cups, they see that potential, and their first instinct is, how the hell can I get away from this? How can I sabotage this? How can I push this away? I don't want to let anybody in. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to open up to the possibility, because then I'll just get hurt even more. So they've got a lot going on, and I feel like they care about you more than they let on, but I also feel as if they don't have any idea how to show up for that. Someone loving you and caring about you, and someone who knows how to show up for that love and care are two very different things. And if they don't really know how to, let go of this control that they're having, then, because self-sabotage is a form of control, because it's our way of saying, I know how this is going to end, so I'm going to do these things because I know what the outcome looks like. This person opening up and letting you in and allowing this connection to unfold in a healthy manner, that's outside of their comfort zone. They don't know how to handle that. So they're going to do whatever they can to not have to face that unknown, which is going to be, kind of affecting you in some way, and hurt people. So, you can have empathy and love for where they're at, and kind of empathy for what they're going through, but you do not need to tolerate their behavior. Unconditional love and unconditional empathy are not the same thing. So just make sure that you are continuing to focus on yourself here, and understand that a lot of this person's behavior doesn't have anything to do with you, and you can't change anybody. No matter how much you guilt them, try to shame them, or love them into it, you can't change people. And yeah, this person might have a lot of potential, but if they're consistently hurting you over and over again, you have to step in and be that protector for yourself and say, hey, I deserve more than this, which I feel like is kind of why I feel like you were kind of pushed into, or are being pushed into, distancing yourself from this person as a little bit of divine protection. So in between the connection, you have It's Never Over with the Ten of Swords. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and then I have an advice card to pull at the very end. A week from today is going to be my first ever How to Attract the Love That You Deserve and Desire workshop. It's taking place over Zoom. If you are interested in purchasing a ticket to that, the information on the event and everything you need to know about it is at the top of the description box below. Like I said, it is a live event, but if you cannot make the live event, and you purchase a ticket, then you will receive a recording of the event. Whether or not you attend, you'll get that recording. So all the information for that is in the description box below. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to shoot me an email. Otherwise, thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Aries, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Aries.